Hello and welcome back to another live coding session. When we left off, we had just created this twig or this sapling that when we pick it, it will regrow 1 second later and it will go into the inventory. And over the week, we got a pull request from Vigdale who added picking up based on distance to object. So we'll now pick up the closest object. And I can show that code off. Actually here in the player. Let me get it centered. And it's done in a very functional style where we loop over to get the entities and transforms, and then we filter them based on if they're close enough to the player. And then, we filter to get the entity distance, and it's pickupable. What's the pickupable have? Oh, what it picks up. And then we filter on can pick up, which I don't know. I think this function changed. I guess this checks for if there's enough space in the inventory to pick it up. I guess I haven't tested that. And then we do a minimum partial compare. I don't actually understand this line completely, but it seems to be what's actually doing the ordering. And then finally return back the entity and pick up, and we can use the code we wrote last week to pick it up or to despawn it. So that's much appreciated. I really appreciate having pull requests coming in for this project, especially using styles of code that I'm not as comfortable with. I write a very plain C style code usually, so it's good to get exposed to this. So this week, I think I want to work more on crafting. So let's see where we left off on crafting. Actually, I have one request while we still have viewer retention. Let me pick up some items. I have to remember the keys. Does anyone in the world understand how to center text? Because I fought with this when I was recording the tutorial for this week. Let me show off the problem. If I say have 10 flint, and I go to the inventory text UI, and I look at the text. If I set its alignment to center, left, right, it moves like 1 pixel, but almost not at all. If I go to the parents, if I go to this node's style, I can position it, but then when I shrink it, the number will be, the single digit will be on the left side of the text box, even if I have it set to right align. And the alignment doesn't change the behavior. If I decrease down to single digit, it's not right aligned with the bottom of the text box. And I don't know how to fix that. Actually, is it because I'm using absolute positions? Let me try just one thing live here. So if I put that there, and then if I change the count, it's still left aligned, but if I change it to right aligned, no, it still doesn't move like at all. So that's a polish thing that's been bugging me. And I've sat here off camera and I've just played with these settings. And I cannot figure out which one is the one that I'm not understanding. Oh, that's not right. Let me move it. Oh. Okay, I don't want to center it. I want it to be at the end of the flex box. Yeah, so this is starts at the bottom and then position it up. I'm just randomly changing things. I have no idea how to make this do what I want it to do. Yeah, it just doesn't move. And even if I set it to grow, values greater than 1 don't seem to do anything. Nothing changes. And it's very frustrating. 100%. Maybe it's because I'm just not using the flexbox right. Maybe this actually needs to do the layout automatically, and it'll just all work if I do like the correct padding between the text. I don't know. So that's my open request for anyone out there who understands Bevy UI. Or I could ask on the Discord server, and they seem to be very responsive. So that's where that's at. So let's look at crafting to actually get started working for the week. This is going to be a short session because my girlfriend has the day off from work for Good Friday. So I don't know how much we're going to get done. So the way we do crafting recipes, I want to define them in a RON file. But I don't know if I like this item and count. Inventory is made out of inventory entries. And item and count is the exact same thing. So maybe let's first refactor. Can't say I've said that word out loud in a while. This to use item and count. I think if I just delete this. Okay, sure. Item and count. And then let's go down the rabbit hole. Item and count's not inspectable, which it absolutely needs to be. Where's item and count? It's in items. Okay. Inspectable. And I need to probably register its type in the plugin. It's taking me a minute to get warmed up. Inspectable. Or item and count. What I want to do is, I guess registering it's not bad. Well, I don't think, if I don't have the inspectable plugin, let me get this compiling, and then I'll explain my problem. This has to have a default. Item and count needs to have a default. Which, I hope there's a default item type. I think it's none. Oh, I didn't mean to run, but I guess we'll get to see if it works. Oh wow, Rust is so nice. Okay. So what I'm talking about is I want to be able to compile the release builds without needing the World Inspector plugin. So if I compile without that, it crashes. And it crashes because unwrap on a none type. When we register inspectable. So yeah, the plugin adds this registry. So if we don't have this, then we can't be registering inspectable. Which is kind of lame. Is this made out of like more plugins? Okay, I'm just looping. I guess I could add the registry myself. Let's see, how does this add it? I'm lost here. Build, okay. World Inspector params an inspectable registry. So if I just insert that myself, am I allowed to? I guess I am. Is that, or everywhere in the game where we are registering these types for debug, I would do, what would I do? I'd probably stop this here, and I'd say if CFG debug. I need to remember what that magic thing is. But I would do something like this. I think it's debug assertions. Maybe? Well, let me get my Clippy up. That seems to work. So now if I run, we'll see the world object and item count, which I trust just works. No graphic for item. That's a bug I need to fix. I need to put a graphic for the none item. which actually shouldn't be too hard. Yeah, let's just do the none item in our run file. Item none, which is going to be on the graphics. Let me get my art tool up. I'll make a nice pink item. That's in my tools, nice bright. Cool. Let me open the placeholder graphics. Beautiful. Alright, art time. Let's go with this nice purple. And we'll put it down here. Rectangle fill. Purple. And pink. And that looks about right to me. Pink and purple. Purple. Pink. Pink. Purple. That's a good debug sprite. Let's save this and export it. Make sure this is going to the right place. Live coding. Yeah. Cool. Export. Close this. There it is. I should not have closed that, because I want to get the coordinates of it. Let's go back. And the coordinates are in the bottom left of my window. Goes to 241 down to 255. 241 to 255. 241, 241, and 255. Now that shouldn't crash, and I'll just keep that over there. Okay, so now with the inventory, I should be able just to turn up none. If there's none, I'm hard setting it to 0. It's kind of inconvenient. I guess I'll allow you to have none items. For now. Probably something also we could change on release builds. But I don't like having too much like code difference in release builds. Alright, so now we have a nice placeholder sprite. Cool. Okay. Oh, and I was testing if this debug assertions thing actually worked. So I need to make a release build, which is going to kind of suck because I have to wait for it to compile. But I'll go ahead and put that up on a separate monitor. Live coding. Cargo build release. And that will take a minute to build. So I'll just put that over there and we can keep working. I'm just hoping that we won't be able to see item and count. And then theoretically, if we get rid of all of these, we'll be able to also get rid of the inspector on release builds. Which I'll just clean up as I see them. I wonder if using 99% of my CPU is degrading the recording quality. Maybe I should build off camera. Sorry, I'm thinking for a second. So, crafting. How do we want crafting to work? I probably want to do the same UI trick that I did for inventory. So maybe I'll pull that out into a separate thing. I'm resisting using Bevy's UI. I need to look up recommendations for alternative UIs, but I just don't enjoy working with Bevy's UI in its current state. Oh, we can now run the release build. So this is a release build, and we have item and count still. Item and count, which should not be built. I wonder if this won't. I guess it didn't give me any warning. Let me look that up real fast. Rust, remove, or only in debug, maybe? Define debug. It's the C way. Pound CFG debug assertions. Isn't there a way to do this with an if statement? Debug assertions. Oh. CFG macro. Then misspell assertions. So if CFG target Linux, print Linux. Okay. Debug assertions. If I just remove an I from this, does it still compile? Seems like it does. So there's no way to know if this is actually working. I guess I can check. I did it in the tutorial code. So let me go steal from my own code. Tutorial 6. Debug plugin, which I've not been using. And I guess I didn't actually test it. I hope I haven't put something wrong in the tutorial code. Register type. Item and count. Oh, sorry. Madeline's coming in and out of the house. So if you hear the door slam, I apologize. Okay, I'll just put it to do. I don't think this is working. Or fix me, I guess. I don't think this is working. ... Or maybe it's working but opposite how I think. Is it removing it from debug builds? Player. Inventory. Nope. Who knows? Well, that's kind of upsetting if that doesn't work in the tutorial code either. Actually, I'm going down this rabbit hole for a second. I'm looking at other Rust projects I have. Let's see. Debug. CFG. Debug assertions. I feel like this should work. Am I building the wrong code? Cat source item.rs. Nope, building the right code. Well, anyway, we'll come back to that in the future, I guess. Discovering a lot of things wrong. I also want to rework how items work, because I don't want to be adding and removing components anymore. I think what I really want to be doing is I want to have separate components for something that can be picked up that has the pickupable component, and something that can be harvested. So I don't think pickup actually should have drops on it, but that's fine for now. Let's do crafting. So what I was looking at was how I did the UI, the custom UI in inventory. Okay, it's been 2 weeks since I wrote this nightmare. Spawn inventory UI. So I just hand calculate the flexbox, I guess. Because I'm too stupid to figure out how to use bevies. Or more if it's just easier. It's faster for me to make it from scratch. And I like things to be very consistent, even at different screen scales. So we create our boxes. Don't care about text. And we just push them. So all I care about is making these boxes. Wait. Can I collapse this? Bye. So I put them at starting X and then spacing. And spacing is calculated as magic number. Okay. I'm going to do something sinful and probably just copy and paste this. Because I think it's fine to copy and paste this, because the crafting UI is going to behave very differently than the inventory UI. So there's no point in me trying to make this generic. Maybe. Or I'm making a nightmare for myself when I have to rework this. Yeah, we're just going to copy for now. And then once I've copied, if I see that they're literally identical, then we can break it out into a separate UI module that could generate. But at that point, I'm writing a whole UI system. Okay. So let's spawn crafting UI. I also want hotkeys for a lot of things. So also, does this have to be a child of the game camera? Import all this stuff while I'm thinking. Okay. And add it as a system. Add system. Self. Well, I just named this spawn UI crafting. Or crafting UI. Perfect. Let me see. Did I have... probably faster to look at the code. But do I have the inventory as a child of the camera? Oh, I do. And I didn't even name them. That's, I don't know how that makes me feel. But I guess it works. Let me go ahead and name them while I'm here. Name. Sure. And then on UI box. Oh, I made a component called UI box. UR inventory box. Where is UI box used? Why do you not compile? Oh, fair enough. Oh, keep hitting L, going to the bottom of the screen. Let's see. Go to find all references. It's a slot. And option children. What do I do with this query? I iterate over it. So I don't think I can reuse this. So I'm going to actually reclaim that name. And this is an inventory box now. Because I don't want boxes for crafting, I don't think. I kind of want... So Don't Starve has this hierarchy system of like crafting categories. Like survival, light, and whatnot. And it'd be nice to have that in the future. But I don't think we need that now. Alright, so we need to spawn a box for every valid recipe. So we're going to need to get the crafting book. Which is a resource. So we can get the book as a resource here. And I guess that tells us how many slots we have. So let's go ahead and just grab this code for now. I don't want text. I hate text. I don't need percent because that was for text. Size here is going to be book.length, right? Can't find crafting book in this scope, but it's right there. Oh, because I don't have closing brackets. Or that's not a real thing. Book.length. What are you upset about? You're upset. So this is what Clippy just printed out. I don't have a closing bracket. Oh, this delimiter might not be properly closed. So I am missing one. Beautiful. And the book doesn't have a length. The book has recipes that has length. Beautiful. You put this away for now. Okay. And I want, so starting Y, spacing. Yeah, this is probably going to end up being a helper function once I figure out like what the commonalities are. I just don't know if the reason I don't want to make it a helper function is because the inventory has text and this does not. And those are calculated basically the same way. But the inventory's text, I guess I can look at it. Yeah, it's calculated based off of each other. But I hate the inventory's text. But it's like the inventory's text is a child of a UI root. Yeah, this node bundle. Which isn't set up right. What space between? Why did I decide to do this? Maybe this isn't set up right. Because I did absolute positioning. Okay, I can't get pulled into that now. So let's go ahead and grab the spawning of the box sprite. Boxes.push. I want all of this. And you're not an inventory box. What are you? Crafting box, which will be an index into the recipe book. So, crafting box. And I guess this also will have an active, because I want it to light up if you can craft. Go ahead and make that strut. I think we do components at the bottom in the new style. I like components at the top, because that's the like interface of the module. Honestly, I should move like components to separate files, maybe? I don't know. I don't know how to scale Bevy project into something really big. But I guess that's what we're figuring out now. So active will be a bool. Slot is a usize, which isn't actually slot. It's like index or recipe index, to be very explicit. And derive component. Probably don't need to be able to inspect this. But I know as soon as I say that, I'm going to need to inspect it. So, X here should be, I guess, negative 0.8 times resolution. Because I think I did normalized camera for this too. And then this is Y times I. And I can delete this. Import resolution. Oh, and I need to push these as the children of the camera. Yeah. And I need to get the camera entity. I'm sure I'm freaking people out with how much I'm copying and pasting, but I just want to get something working. And why are we not using the asset server? More importantly, oh, because I load the font here, which is also gross. I load the font like 10 times. That's bad. I mean, it's not bad, but what to do here? It just feels gross. Don't load the font every time, please. Or is the asset server smart enough to not reload it? Maybe the asset server is smart enough to not reload. That's a interesting question. I don't know how much faith I have in the asset server. I guess I can get faith. Load untyped. Load untracked. Load async, detach, handle ID, get ID into path, insert, set path. I see no indication that this like looks up if I've already loaded that path. So I don't think it's intelligent. Alright. So we spawn a crafting box now. Crafting. And let's see. Odds of this working are incredibly low. Oh, look at that, crafting. I want this to be like minus 0.9. Okay, so that's the crafting box, which should be associated with the correct recipe. That works. I really should put these in a ROM file, but for now I'm just gonna not, because I just want to get this working. And then we can clean up this mess. So let's add a second recipe for taking a wood and 2 grass to make a campfire. Okay. What have I done wrong? Probably many things. This is a crafting recipe. Whoa, wait. Alright, recipes. It's a vector crafting recipe. Crafting recipe. Yeah, I think I need one more of these. Please format. Hey, Clippy, tell me what I did wrong. Missing curly brace. How useful. Needed produces. And then that ends off the first recipe. Needed produces. This doesn't need to have a square bracket, because you can only produce one thing. Still not happy. Needed produces. Item count, item count. Why do you have a square bracket? Oh, for that. That closes that off. Oh, I need a square bracket here. Okay. Closer. Unexpected tokens. Okay, so we have crafting recipes needed. Oh, wood is not an item type yet. It is. Oh, it needs a comma after wood. I should just read the error message before I start working. Cool. And campfire needs to become an item type. Oh, dogs are upset. Alright, we now have 2 things we can craft. And we have 2 crafting things. Magic. Which means I should be able to just put the sprite of what you can craft inside of the box. So let's go ahead and do that. Since I already have the book, how do we spawn the inventory UI? And this is static, so it doesn't need to update, which is another difference from the inventory. Make sure I'm still recording. Oh wow, we're making good progress today. We're only half an hour in. So we create a graphic. Yeah, sure. Just yoink this. I love copying and pasting. Don't judge me. Push to boxes. But I think I want to do with children. Parent. Come on. Oh, good grief. I was looking at colors and graphics. That's why it's on my clipboard. I'm thinking about doing a shader video. Alright, I use the Vim control sometimes, and use Control-C and Control-V other times. I need to break that. So this is actually parent. And I don't need ID. Delete this. Close that. World object. Because at some point, right now crafting just puts it in your inventory, but some items don't go in your inventory. Like being able to make a campfire. You can't have that in your inventory, you have to place it in the world. So that's some more complexity. So let's see. We have not slot that item. I think it's just books I? Recipes book I? Probably. So it's book.recipes I, which is safe because we're looping over the length of the book. Probably could loop over the book and enumerate. Could enumerate book. Probably should. Let's go ahead and do that. Which is enumerate. And this should be even safer. Recipe. I. That's backwards. It's I recipe. And now here, I just need to go recipe dot produces, which is a single item. And I need to get the graphics. So let's yoink the graphics. Probably shouldn't name that placeholder graphics. I actually want to do what I do for my actual game I'm working on and have a very sophisticated graphic system. Well, I already have graphics. What are you not happy about? Option cannot be dereferenced. You're not an option. What are you upset about? Oh, unclosed delimiter. Let's fix that problem before we do anything else. Ah, fair enough. And now, Clippy tells me to put a star in front of it. Cool. What does this do? Why did I name all of this UI? Let's look at what this does. Oh, not in this context. Sure. References. With. Okay, so it's used to update. So I'm going to name this inventory box contents. Inventory. I lost track of what I was saying. Oh, I want to redo graphics to do what I do in my Debug game, where it's described in a giant RON file, and it can support multiple sprite sheets. And it's a nice hash map. I'm enjoying working with it, and I did performance test, and it doesn't seem to be too bad. It's almost worth like publishing as its own file. Alright. So this code builds, but I don't think it does what we need it to do. Let's go ahead and find out, I guess. Oh, it crashes. Because there's no graphic for fire. No graphic for item. Tell me what item. No graphic for item. Recipe dot produces, please. What do you... Oh, format, sure. And then you'll be upset that I'm formatting inside of a expect, which is a function call. Type item cannot be formatted with the default formatter. Fair enough. Expected stir found string. Ampersand. Ampersand. I'm keeping my Clippy on a second monitor, so I hope no one's desperately needing to see that. Right. So the position of fire in the sprite sheet starts at 3550. This file might get unwieldy. 3550. And it goes down to 6282-ish. Probably should be more tight with those bounds, so it's not off by a pixel. Unknown variant fire. Oh, because this is an item. It's not actually an item. It's closer to a sapling. Oh. Isn't that cute? So we have... Go ahead and mark that fire is actually an item. Or a world object. Actually, not an item. Is a world object. Fix me. And then the crafting interface should be able to show world objects. So produces would need to be able to produce world objects, but those can't go in the inventory, so we'd have to rework fundamentally how crafting works. Okay. Which is something we will do. So now, how does crafting work? This is a gameplay decision. Do I want to be able to click on it and craft? Yeah, let's do mouse clicking. So to do mouse clicking, I'm going to actually just steal a file that I have in a different project, which is in projects, Rust, game dev, Bevy space game. And I'm going to copy the mouse.rs into live coding, which is Bevy tutorials, live coding, survival crafting game, source. And this, I guess I'll show off the cheat book. Oh, comes from the cheat book that has this beautiful function that tells us exactly how to get the mouse coordinates. And I shamelessly am stealing this. Except I've made some modifications to it where it inserts a resource for the mouse position. Yeah. And it does it in pre-update. So we now, if I remember to add this to main, should have a mouse position resource we can grab. Sure, I'll put it in the prelude. Yeah, why not? Use crate. Oh, I should be using the prelude at all of my files. But I already am. I should be updating this. I don't usually do this, but it's probably good practice. Let's see. Use crate mouse. Pub use mouse position and plugin. Actually, if I wanted to be... I don't know if the prelude should really have the plugins, because those are only used in main. Am I not understanding how this works? No. VS Code is not. Yeah, I don't know if I want the plugins here, because those really shouldn't be cluttering the namespace. Interesting. So, we have mouse position. So in test crafting, let's get the mouse position. Mouse position, which is a resource called mouse position. Oh, we're not using prelude.star. Interesting. Okay. And when I do the automatic stuff, oh, it's adding it here. Sweet. So I need to find out if I'm clicking on the button. So I actually need to get these crafting buttons. Which, have I given them a way for me to query for them? Crafting box. So let's query for all the crafting boxes. Crafting box. Query crafting box. And I actually want to be able to read its parameters, and I also want the transform. Maybe its size? How would I get its size? Its size just hard-coded here? It's hard-coded. Is that okay? Yeah. As long as its scale is locked at 1, that's fine. Alright, let's loop over the boxes. For transform, comma, oh, dog is very upset. Box, crafting box. I apologize for the dogs. Something moved outside, so they're going to be upset for quite some time. Crafting box dot iter. I don't actually want to name it that. I want to call it box query. Oh, and that's a query, so I'll put it up there to stay organized. box query dot iter. Don't need to mutate anything. Let's assert transform dot scale equals vec3 is flat 1. Beautiful. Because that's an assumption I'm going to make. And then let's do a constant at the top here. Const box size or crafting box size. Be very explicit. Which is F32, I think. Correct? And then down here, your size is the crafting box size. Magic number, gone. And I can reuse that here to find out if I'm clicking on it. So let's see. If mousepause.x is greater than transform. Okay, what? Translation equal transform dot translation. Let me get some more screen space. Is bigger than translation.x minus half of the box size. And boop, 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 boop. Because transforms are centered, and we'll do y plus y and y. Then we're within the box. To do, use Bevy, ABB, collide method. I realized that too late. What is mouse position made out of? Why is it made out of Effect2? Sure, whatever. I'm the one who made that, so makes sense. Come on, 0 dot, 0 dot, 0 dot. So, we are over the box. I tell in over. Let's just see. And let's do the box index. Crafting box dot book index and crafting box dot recipe index. Crash. Mouse position. What are you upset about? Resource mouse position does not exist. Why? Because I probably forgot to add the plugin, didn't I? Add plugin, mouse position. Yeah. Not mouse position, mouse plugin. Help. Crash. Why crash? No entries with camera. Oh, because my mouse position expects main camera to exist. So where do I actually create the camera? Uh-oh. Player, I guess? Uh-oh. Do I spawn it in the player? Where do I create a camera? Game assets, maybe? Load assets. Game camera. Pre-startup, I spawn a camera. And I give it game camera. But mouse expects to be called main camera. Sure, game camera. Be nice if UI cameras were a different type. Oh. Remove this nonsense while I'm here. Oop. Over 1, over 0, over 1, over 0. Those are rendering in the opposite order of how I want. So let's change that real fast. I just literally am implementing Bevy's UI buttons from scratch, but in a way that feels nice to me. Starting Y. Negative. I actually want it to be positive. Which means I can probably remove these parentheses. And as we go along, I'm going to subtract the spacing. Beautiful. Over 0, over 1. I don't know if you could see that, but it was in the terminal at the bottom. Okay. So now, instead of keyboard, I want mouse input, which is input mouse button. And then, so we're over something. Just move all of this up in there. So that way we're earlying out of this function if we're not moused over anything. Not that it really matters, because this is not going to be a performance intensive game or function. Mouse just pressed. Mouse button left. And you can craft it. Can craft. Or I just want to craft it. Give me my screen space. So I want to craft the crafting box dot recipe index. And just kind of hope that this is always, this is always a valid index. Enforce this. Because in the future, like, you might unlock new recipes and, I mean, we'll catch that bug when it shows up, but I'm just trying to be safe. And then here needs to be crafting box, that recipe index, and we'll give you what you produce. Disgusting. So, if I pick up this, click, nothing happens. Pick that up. Click, nothing happens. Why? I can craft this. We are over a box. Let me just print stuff, I guess. Trying to craft. Item count needed. Oh wait. Or crafting, I guess is what this should say. And then here, for now, let's just make this a separate if statement, just to make sure we know where it's failing. And I'll pull this up so we can all look at it together. Crafting. Why do you print that so much? Why did you print that so many times? I click it once and it prints out tons and tons of times. Mouse just pressed the left button. Print crafting. We had a trying crafting. So trying to crafting. Why is this happening so many times? Just pressed. Loop over all the boxes. The position. This honestly also needs to be global position. By the way, because if it's a child or whatever, I don't want to, be working on its offset. Trying to crafting is printing so many times. On one mouse click. Is it because I'm over, at worst, there's only 2 crafting boxes. Let's see. Alright, let's print if we're over anything. Over. So I'm not over anything. Now I am. When I click, scrolling up, okay, printed out a lot of stuff, but it looked like it was alternating between over and trying to craft. Okay, I can't scroll up far enough. I hate when this happens because I'm sure the answer is very visible on screen to everyone. Except me. Give me 1 second to get distracted. Okay, I'm back. Let me look at the behavior one last time. So click, prints out trying to craft. Pick up. Pick up. Oh, it crafted an axe. Let me get 2 of those. Okay, it crafted a lot of axes. Not exactly the behavior I want. So why? Transform translation. 3 for crafting box. How many crafting boxes am I making? Is there just infinite crafting boxes on top of each other here? Out of the camera. Uh-oh. That's not good. So what have we done wrong? When we spawn the crafting UI, for every recipe, we spawn a box. Is this happening every frame? Uh-oh. I've discovered it with startup system. Haha. Beautiful. So we now have... Haha. We can now craft by clicking on that. So let's give myself the grass I need to make a campfire. Inventory. Grass. Oh. Couple of grass. I'll put this in the last spot. Come on. Wood. I have to give myself a couple of none, then make it wood. And now, if I click there, I can make campfires. So we have crafting over here, and we can click on. Oh, and I can't pick up twigs because my inventory is full. How nifty. So I think that was my goal for the day. This nightmare easily becomes a RON file. But I think I'm actually going to go celebrate Good Friday and have a long weekend. So this is going to be a short one. In the future, and next week as the wrap up, I want it to gray out crafting recipes that cannot be done. So let me put a to-do here. To-do, gray out currently impossible recipes. And then, down here, I shouldn't need to check if can craft. To-do, just check if the button's active. Active. Button should track if can craft. And let's just hope there's no weird one frame things where, you can drop an... This is how you get like item doubling, where you could drop the item on the same frame that you craft it, and it would still let you craft or something. I don't know. But I think that's work for next week, because I'm relatively happy with this. If anyone in the world knows how to use Bevy's UI, I'm so sorry that I have re-implemented a Flexbox from scratch, and I don't know how to position text, but I've read the documentation, I fought with it, I struggle with it. I have just not my skill set, I guess. So I apologize, and I hope someone out there can explain it to me. Probably on the Discord would be the best place to type a paragraph. Well, I'm gonna sign off. So as always, thank you for watching. Please remember to like and subscribe. The link to the GitHub for this project's in the description, and a link to be invited to a Discord server. Pull requests are always very welcome. We've had 2 so far, and both of them have been very high quality, and one helped reorganize the entire code base and made it where I'm not still 500 lines deep in main, and the other one added a feature to the game. So I appreciate the community around this project, and I hope to see you next Friday. Thank you for watching.